Good evening. Welcome to Interlude. My name is Nadine Pierre. Each week, as I listen to inspiring words on Sunday and Wednesday, I listen for what resonates or what will move me forward in my journey, my path. What will create that space for me where I feel courageous in my vulnerability, so that I may fully express as me, stand up or speak up for truth. I have found that these lessons, these words that resonate, send a message of love. True unconditional love of self and knowing source. So basically, each week, I'm reminded to love my whole self, including my faults, to allow and let go my forgetting and making mistakes, because I am one with my source. The kicker is that every day, I have an opportunity to practice all of it. You know why? Simply because I am you and you are me. Revelation, mind blown, right? When I saw that, really saw that this past week, I laughed so hard at myself. And you know what I said to myself? I gotta pray, because I gotta do better at remembering this stuff. So with that, let's pray. So starting with a couple of deep breaths to center ourselves. To leave the chaos and the chatter of the mind and descend into that heart space. The space that reminds me of love. I start with love, conceptualizing it, feeling it. I put one hand over my heart to ground myself in feeling love. Love for myself. Remembering that I am one with Source. I align and ground in loving my whole self, unconditionally. I feel it. I am grounded in unconditional, divine love. It is in this space that I truly feel at home. Truly feel that I am being myself. When I step into the world from this space of wholeness, I see love in everyone. And I have the courage to be my authentic self. And so it is.
And so it is. Good evening. My name is Reverend Nina Clark, and I'm the Associate Minister here at Unity in Lynnwood. And I would just like to welcome you again to Interlude, our midweek service, where we provide an opportunity for you, and for us as well, to just stop for a minute and reorient and recenter ourselves in the truth of what we know, the truth of ourselves, so that we can carry that forward into the rest of our week. Welcome. Thanks for being here. We're so glad to have you. So last week we talked about welcome and how an inner welcome might be a path to our own wholeness. And as we welcome those parts of ourselves that we've left stranded along the proverbial highway of our lives. And we also touched on how the teachings of unity can help us release self-limiting beliefs that keep those stranded parts of ourselves in exile. And I want to go a bit deeper with that tonight. We talk a lot about releasing in New Thought, and it's actually one of Charles Fillmore's 12 powers, elimination. In the book, The 12 Powers of Man by Charles Fillmore, he wrote, "Thoughts are things. They occupy space in the mental field. A healthy state of mind is attained and continued when the thinker willingly lets go of old thoughts and takes on the new." We talk about releasing that which is between where we are and where we want to be. Whether where we want to be includes greater health or wealth or love or joy. But over the last couple weeks, I have a new perspective, a nuance on that. I believe that we release so that we can become whole. Now I say become whole, but we know that we are already whole by virtue of being one with the only thing that is. But many or most of us don't really feel whole. We don't experience ourselves as whole. We are working towards that experience, having that knowing be a felt knowing. And so I say that I believe that we release so that we can become whole with that idea in mind. But doesn't that sound kind of oxymoronic or counterintuitive? I mean, how could releasing something help us become whole? It's like, Nina, did you ever take a math class? How does releasing a piece of pie help the pie to be more whole? It kind of looks like a pie with a piece missing to me. Releasing can sound like we're letting go of something that we've been dragging around, like some old suitcase or a dusty clay statue. And that if we let go, it can seem like there might be a hole or a space where it was. But I don't think releasing is really about getting rid of anything in that way. Well, it is, but it isn't. It is because you do release a limiting belief. But whatever the belief was attached to, the event is still there. Everything is always here. Everything is always possible. So we're not really releasing the thing, event, or person. We're releasing the beliefs or the story that keep us stuck. Confused? Yeah, me too. I was confusing myself while I was trying to write that. This is why I love stories. They can be so helpful. So, once upon a time, way back, when I was in junior high, I bought myself a Slurpee before getting on the city bus to go home. It was not something I did often. I was typically the only one in my group of friends without one. And so I was excited to have this rare treat all to myself. And on this particular sunny, almost summer day, a friend who usually had her own drink, but on this occasion did not, asked me for a sip of mine. She was a sort who always took an enormous bite, or maybe more than one enormous bite, and so I was reluctant to share. When she saw me hesitate, she said, "Give me a sip, or I won't be your friend anymore." I handed her the Slurpee. She smirked and took her oversized bite, or two. Now, I know this is a small thing, but I carried that resentment around in my heart for years. I thought it was anger at her for valuing our friendship so low. and my own humiliation that I felt for handing her the Slurpee, for that knowing smirk on her face, and for my own feelings of low self-worth. I couldn't think of that incident without heat rising to my face, without my stomach getting tight, my chest constricting. Fast forward to doing my work in New Thought, that memory resurfaced with all of the resentment and humiliation still attached to it. What I discovered was my 12-year-old's anger at herself for not standing up for herself, for not seeing her own self-worth. That's what was keeping her stuck on that bus. And it was still keeping me stuck, because when it resurfaced, I realized that up until that point, I entered most of my friendships with the belief that to them, my friendship was not worth more than a sip of Slurpee. When I released my grip on my story about the event itself didn't go anywhere. It was still there in my memory. My experience of the event, however, my belief around the event changed. When the belief that I was worried was released, my 12-year-old self came home, and I became more whole. You see, I'd abandoned my 12-year-old self on that bus. She'd been there all those years, stewing in anger and resentment and humiliation. She's no longer there on that bus. She's now here in my heart, and I am more whole. This is just a small example of what I mean by becoming more whole when we release. We release that which is in the way of us being able to welcome all the parts of ourselves back home. I believe that this release works more like what I mentioned a couple of weeks ago. The letting go is more like what happens when we simply opened our hand. Like if right now you were to imagine holding tight to a ball in your fist and keep holding it and holding it and holding it, and now release. That's the release I think that we're talking about. The ball is still there somewhere, but you've released your grip on it. In my experience, what I am gripping onto is usually a belief around an experience, a story that I've told myself about an event. If a person's involved in my experience, an event, however small, is also involved. It's not typically about the person, it's about the event and the person. So we're not releasing past parts of ourselves or even the event itself. It still happened. And we won't get into the whole mind boggle of whether it truly happened or not, because now it's only a memory. But we're releasing the judgments or the beliefs about those past events or experiences. We're releasing the judgments or beliefs about those older versions of ourselves so that we can welcome those parts home again, so that we can get into right relationship with them again. It's like gathering up bits of a jigsaw puzzle and putting the pieces in the right place. They're all there inside of us, all jumbled up. We just have to put them back in their right place. In Unity, we teach that which helps us to release our grip. We teach that that is starting with God. We remind ourselves of the truth of who we are first. We speak words of truth to ourselves, and then we watch to see what comes up. Our first step is always affirming that we are of God, that we are one with this amazing capital L light, one with this universal intelligence, one with this exquisite beauty, one with this unlimited creativity. We affirm this and then watch to see what comes up within ourselves that would argue with that truth. And it's not about getting rid of everything, just saying. I know that can sound like a daunting task, at least for some of us. And as you do your work, there is stuff that we'll let go of all on its own. You'll wake up one morning just being different. This is not about becoming perfect so that we never make another mistake. It's about releasing that which prevents us from showing up as who we want to be. It's not about never getting angry or never being sad. That's part of being human. That's part of life on planet Earth. It's about becoming whole so that we can be free to be at choice and more fully ourselves. So will you join me for a time of meditation? I invite you to get comfortable right where you are and take a deep, intentional breath, allowing your attention to follow that breath back to your body. Just allow yourself to settle into this moment. Bring your thoughts back from the day, from all the to-dos that you had to do, and bring your thoughts back from the future about the things that are waiting for you to be done. Just allow yourself to settle right here in this moment. And now allow yourself to become aware that above your head there is a pool of light, sparkly and golden. This is the light of unconditional love. It is the energy that is back of all things. Like glittering honey, it slowly flows down towards you and enters your energetic body through the top of your head. And as it does, you are filled with a loving warmth, and the muscles in your face and head relax, and you feel safe. And now this golden light slowly flows into your neck. Feel the loving warmth of this golden light relax all the muscles in your neck. And now this golden light slowly flows into your shoulders and down your arms into your hands. Feel the loving warmth of this golden light. Relax the muscles in your shoulders, arms, and hands. And now this golden light slowly flows to your chest and abdomen. Feel the loving warmth of this golden light. Relax the muscles in your chest and abdomen. And now this golden light slowly flows into your back. Feel the warmth of this loving golden light. Relax the muscles in your back. And now allow this golden light to flow into your hips and pelvis, and feel the loving warmth of this golden light. Relax your hips and pelvis. And now this golden light slowly flows into your legs and feet, and feel the loving warmth of this golden light. Relax your legs and feet. And now that you're feeling all warm and safe and filled with golden light, imagine that you were walking along a mountain trail. The air is comfortably warm, the sky a brilliant blue. There are wildflowers of every color along the sun-dappled path. And you can hear the rustling of birds in the trees. You can even see a deer nibbling on a berry bush. She looks at you with gentle, trusting eyes as you pass. And as you round a bend, you see an entrance to a cave. The entrance is wide and spacious, and you can see a golden glow emanating from farther within. You enter the cave to see that this is no ordinary cave. The walls themselves are glowing with golden light. Walking deeper into the cave, you see a stone pedestal, and on this pedestal is a small object. It seems familiar to you, and as you get closer, you see that it is a small stone sculpture glowing with that same golden light. It is a symbolic part of you that you are ready to embrace. Gently, you pick up the tiny sculpture, and you are filled with a rush of love for that part of you that it represents. The small sculpture disappears, and simultaneously, you feel a warmth in your chest. Feel into that warmth. That warmth is unconditional love. Feel the peace of it as it spreads throughout your physical and energetic bodies. Feel the wisdom that is interlaced with that unconditional love spread throughout your chest, into your arms, down your legs, up into your head. You are radiant with that light now. And then feel into that stillness within. Find comfort there. Find an even greater peace there. That the wisdom and guidance that is there for you rise up within you. There is only one life, one power, and one presence that is in and through and back of all the manifest world. And this life, this presence, this power has individuated as you, because being one, it can be no other way. This one life is your life. This one power sources you. This one presence is who you are. And the knowing of this truth gives you the wisdom to know what is yours to do and to welcome that part of you back home. It gives you the strength to cast aside fear and doubt, and it emboldens you to step into the fullness of the light and the fullness of your wholeness, the fullness of the light that you came here to shine. You are whole. And now allow your attention to come back to the room that you are in. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Take a breath and allow your eyes to gently open. And carry that increased and enhanced sense of oneness, of wholeness, into the rest of your week. And so it is.
Wow. Thank you, Nina. Thank you. And thank you all for being here with us tonight. I would like to take this time to offer you an opportunity if you'd like to donate this evening. And all the information you need will be in the media chat box for you. So there's an opportunity to use text to give, or some of you may want to mail a check, and some of you may want to go to the website and click on the donate button. We want to really say thank you for all of your generosity and for being here on Wednesdays with us. As we bring this service to a close, we release what does not serve. And we call on courage. Courage which is within us. So repeat after me. Here's who I choose to be. I choose to look in the mirror and see my truth. I know my truth and my power. I look at the blank pages of tomorrow. It takes courage to be me authentically. I am all that I seek. I rise up. I put pen to paper, and I create my life. I live. I love. I laugh. I serve. Every act of love towards myself and others inspires more love. We stand up in support of one another. We are all sisters and brothers in love. My life matters. My voice matters. I matter. Living courageously, being authentically audacious, daring to be me. This is who I choose to be. For me and for the world. Let's do this. And so it is.